but sunny, right?
It is.
Silver
It
lining.
is. Okay. Good morning, you guys. I'm taking this vlog today out on location. If I have bad internet reception, it's because I'm outside of the lobby, so I don't get people staring at me, although they're coming out of the building and going to be staring at me anyway. So I'm at Burnsville Toyota getting my car fixed and whatnot, and I got here at 7 in hopes that it would be done by 9.
Yeah, these are the breaks, especially right now. I mean, you can't even get like a drive-through sandwich done right during COVID. So,
Right. But we have a great topic, and it's all about what we wish we knew when we were younger. And I feel like this is a great example, is that things just take longer than you expect.
I think it's
too. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. There you are.
Yeah, see, things just don't work like you want them to do, like in the real world.
Yeah, in real time. Like on live, how things can
internet, car. I'll get closer to the building, but also I think my computer is getting cold. Okay.
If you went inside, they'll probably just be curious.
Yeah. So tell me, what is one thing that you wish you knew when you were younger?
You know, above my bathroom mirror, I have, I write sticky notes everywhere. And so I write them and then I pull them down, and like at my desk, I'll have like, it's like a monthly cleanse or whatever that I'll have to do, but I come back to my notes. And so, and that looks like chaos to some people, but it's like aha moments to me, right? So I think something I wrote that's above my bathroom mirror right now is no room, and then I have the number 4, fear. And I have the number 4 there because of like the 4 directions, and that's kind of a thing of like everything will always work out, right? There's only like northwest, east, and south, or however, and that's kind of like when you move in fear, I think you're just kind of more moving in like stagnant energy versus kind of like not having fear. Then you can kind of just keep moving, keep flowing. And that's like no room for fear of what will happen, no room for fear of what won't happen, just flow. And so I wish I would have owned that in my younger years.
Oh my gosh, I have one so similar. It's just keep reading, because I read it in, so David Sedaris, I love him. He published his diaries from like all the way from when he was young to now. And he's like, you know what? You might not like some of the things I have to say, but you know, as you get older, your ideas, your opinions, your concepts of life change. So just keep reading.
Yeah.
Like, don't assume things are I'm like this, or I've done this. I've learned lessons. Yeah. Right? Just keep reading. And I love that.
Yeah, I like that too, because it's the whole thing of like the book by a cover or whatever. Like, you may not understand something, but if you keep going or keep flowing or keep reading or whatever, I think, the whole philosophy around that is good stuff. Even, you know, like in what we do.
So much what we do. Like, there's people that, you know, you and I work with that aren't, you know, approved right away, that maybe had some things that they're embarrassed about in their past and have a lot of shame around. So they don't bother to confront it. But you and I say, look, we all have shame and things that we've done in the past. Let's work through it together to help you reach your goal.
And that's, that word just came to me, goal. Because it's like, if you have a goal, no matter what, you're going to get there. If you just keep looking at that goal, you know. And that's in so many things. And it's so interesting. Like, you don't really know how you end up there. When you look back, you're like, oh, I was on track the whole time. I can kind of look back over my life. I have a younger brother. He's 20 years younger than me, like exactly 20 years younger than me, like 20 years and 15 days. And so we were talking yesterday, and he was like, are you this and are you that? And I'm like, I know one thing, I'm 20 years older than you. And I can hear your 22-year-old self talking right now. And so I think just like looking back and like looking at my little brother, like thinking 22 years or 20 years his senior, you do realize like, oh, I was on track even when I was like supposedly off track or felt like things weren't, going in one direction, or I didn't get that offer I wanted, or you know what I mean? Things like that. It's kind of like you're on track.
Oh, it's true. I bet your parents were able to like learn everything about parenting you, and then were able to like do it again the way they wanted to do it right the first time.
It's interesting because my dad, it's my dad's son. It's from, and we're really close. Me and him, we look just alike, oldest and youngest. And it's just super interesting because my dad's like, he just wants to play music and he just wants to do that. I'm like, he's a kid. Like, what do you expect? But it's like, you're headed towards 70 and, the nerve endings are different at that age.
Totally. Oh my gosh. I know. I was thinking about, I read a lot of parenting books and stuff like that. And I just finished the book about the owner of Nike called Shoe Dog.
Yeah.
And I love it. And he worked constantly, but he was always at home for bedtime and reading his kids' bedtime stories, and he got to meet all these like famous athletes and go through, like he was broke all the time in the beginning and how long it took for him to really like come to like a full grip of, managing a company. His growth was insane, But the thing that I love the most about that is how everybody wishes they could do it again to spend more time with their family. Nobody ever wishes that they would work harder or, saved a little bit more money or did a little bit of this. He said it best, is he wished he could do it all over again. Like,
I found something extremely interesting in what you just said. When you're like, he always was home for bedtime and reading. And I think with everything that people have going on, if you could choose one thing that you do, I mean, there's all these like driven what would I say, like motives now. Like you got to be dedicated. There's 24 hours in a day. It's up to you how you spend them, like all these things. And yeah, those things are all true and they build character and muscle and whatever. But I think if you can choose that one thing for you that is yours and that one thing that you're going to drive towards, you know what I mean? Then it's the balance.
Oh, it's so
that's
true.
Important. I think that's the other thing of like the flow and the balance. Like if I could have, I don't think balance is meant for your 20s or for your younger age. I don't think it is.
No, you're just supposed to go out and test all of your boundaries and then, figure out what it is that you like. Find your tribe, right?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think that continues to happen. I visited with some friends the other day, and their business kind of met business and friends, and you get to know each other over time. And one friend of mine introduced me into another friend who's an artist, and she's like, wow, she really picked the right people to connect. I'm like, yeah, she always does. And she's like, no, I don't. I've learned to do that, and those are just kind of other little things as far as like connecting with the right people. I think that's super important to learn how to connect, open yourself up, and then actually, I think opening yourself up to those connections is super important, and learning if those are the right people, your tribe, like you said, if those are the right people for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I read a lot of books to my son, and we always talk about belonging. And I think for a lot of us, we have like a job that we stick with because it pays the bills and it's got good benefits, and it just like that's what we're taught. Go to college, get a job with benefits, like do this, do that. And I think a lot of it has to do with our medical coverage in the United States here, and the culture. We actually have less entrepreneurs in the United States than say like other countries, like third world countries. Isn't that crazy? So, and I think, right, because the problem is if you go into business for yourself, you got to pay self coverage healthcare, and it's not even about you, it's about your family. Like, yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm healthy, I've never been to the doctor. But once you have a kid, they're playing on the playground and split their head open, you know.
My daughter allergic to 17 things on the allergy chart. I was like, that's like a lot.
Oh, poor baby. You know? Yeah, so just even having that stability, I think, you know, in a career and in yourself, and that sense of belonging can really ground you in a world of like so much uncertainty. I find that actual like place called home, you know, that's one of the reasons why I bought a home so young, is because I wanted that certainty of coming home to the same place every day and that reliability.
I can like piggyback off of that because when I graduated high school, I wanted to buy a house in North Minneapolis, and I didn't grow up here. My family's from here, but I grew up on the West Coast, and we moved back here. I was like 2 years gonna graduate high school, and I was like, so we moved from Seattle to here. I lived in Florida, and I totally resonate with you wanting to have a place to call home for stability, you know. And I think a lot of people do talk about homes as an investment, but I think investing in your personal self and finding that stability, that's so big in the investment piece, or a key to the puzzle, when you're thinking of not just an investment money wise, but how are you investing in your health? How are you investing in your mental health? You know, and having stability, I think, is a big thing. And I remember I always look back like, wow, that it was on a VA auction. I was like, if I would have bought that house back when I was 18, my mom just was like, I don't think you should do that. She owned a house at the time. And she was like, just get an apartment. And it's come back to me. I've always wanted to be in real estate or get into it in some one way, shape, or form. And it's always come back to me. And I think that's another thing. I think that was the book that I talk about, and I cannot remember the name, but it's like, buy a condo, have a baby. By the time your baby's 18, your condo will pay for their college or will pay for their business or whatever it is. And I think that's one thing that I would take away from my youth if I could go back. And that's one thing I'm trying to like drill down into my older son. Like, just get a condo. You don't have to live there forever. You can rent it. You can do whatever, or get a house and throw roommates in there. You live with roommates anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, that sense of stability, that sense of ownership is, it's big, I think, for mental health. It's big for the community and building community. I worked in the school system for a little while, and the more successful students, of course, had stable homes. So I hear you on that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about the connection, and I hope that everybody was able to hear what you were saying. I worry. Okay, sorry. You have so many things to say in there, and I think that next week we're going to talk about prioritizing your family and your housing, because I think as a woman, as a working mother, our mental load is just, you know, we're the ones that make doctor's appointments, like we're the ones that make all the dentist appointments. We tend to do a large majority of the house chores. We're in charge of keeping track and teaching our son things. For a lot of parents, yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to say that the fathers do it, but in our culture, they're gone at work and the mothers are left to kind of help do this. And now in our society, things are so expensive. We're also working like on top of this. So having that stability of being home and having one thing left to take off your plate, like not having to worry about a lease renewal or looking for another apartment. I freak out when I have to find a new daycare. Like,
yeah, I know.
I'm like, no, what do you mean you're
with different grades and different schools next year? I'm like,
yeah, I think you're frozen.
Yeah,
I think I'm frozen.
I think it's freezing out.
I
But
know.
I think
We
it's a
should
good place
probably
to pick
end
up
here.
next week, as far as kind of just, if you knew now what you knew then what you know now, and what would you kind of bring into your future, however. And I think we can always take and use those moments. But then, prioritizing, I think it's an art and a skill to learn to prioritize kind of goals, what you really want, what you need, must-haves and stuff like that. Though and your family, and including them in there. I think I can't wait for that subject.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, you guys, enough of the bugs, enough of the freezing. I'm freezing. And next week we'll be back. It'll be solid, I promise. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. The weekend is supposed to be amazing. So thank you so much, Gigi. And I will look forward to talking to everyone else.
Yep, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye now.